just logical to ask you this, because it's been there for a while. When was the protocol for putting an issue on a ballot reduced to simply paying the cost of the election? Or is that a protocol?
Well, no.
Well, I think what they're saying is, when was it so easy to put something on the ballot that all you had to do was just pay for the cost of the election? You know, as it was pointed out by Mr. McCutcheon earlier, that typically you go through a petition process. This takes time. You gather signatures. I think that's what they're asking. When was the protocol for putting an issue on the ballot reduced to just paying the cost of the election? Is that normal?
No. Well, that, let me say, usually the board will hold a study session before we even vote on something like this to discuss it, the pros and cons and whatever. There was no study session.
You read through the ordinance.
It just came on the agenda for that board meeting that night, and we get the packet on Friday. We go to board on Tuesday. It was on the agenda. There wasn't any. You know, there was no, the public wasn't allowed to have any input, or or a town hall meeting, so talk about it. It's just, the board is, you got 7 people on there, and each one has their own opinion and their own mind, and I wish it had been done differently, but it just didn't come out like that. The thing in this town, things have a way of getting on the agenda when there are specific items. I mean, they have a tendency just to turn up all of a sudden.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've noticed that
that's
over
not
the years.
standard procedure.
Not really, no.
That's something else to think about.
Well, I think it speaks to the overall problem here, just like we saw with the River Valley Sports Complex. I mean, there's a rush to judgment for whatever reason it is. I guess we can all come up with conspiracy theories or whatever we want to say, but the question is, why wasn't there a study session? Why wasn't this vetted in a public forum like this? Why weren't tough questions answered, tough questions asked? It's a good question, and whether there's a conspiracy or not, when we do business that way, public business that way, it gives the perception that there's just there's something going on which is not exactly right. And we have some good board of directors, and along with George, and we have great people on the Marshals Museum board. Nobody's questioning their motivations other than on this tax. And there's good people, and I think good people should have dialogue, and we should be able to come in these rooms and talk and discuss in a manner that we get answers, because we're all concerned about the folks who aren't flushing their toilets because their water bills are so high, and there's a matter of priorities, and that's happening. And George hears about it, and I've heard about it. So
the study session was December 10th, and the vote was the 18th, the following week. There was a study session before.
On what?
On the tax increase for the Marshals Museum. December 10th.
You sure?
Yes, 100% positive, beyond a shadow of a doubt, and I can show.
No, I believe you, Melissa. You say so. I don't remember it, but I'm sure
I
there's
contacted
discussion
you.
on it.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah, it's a thing.
order in the court.
Okay.
Order in the court. We're not going to let Mr. Nolan break the court. We can't let you either, Melissa. I'm sorry.
Just corrected the fact there.
Thank you for that, though. You're correct. I remember that. But anyhow, this is a question I think that's on everyone's mind, and I don't think that the folks up here have the answer. I don't have the answer.